Electric motor.
Synthetic rigging.
Classic sailboat.
No electronics.
Crossing the Atlantic Ocean.
Going where the fair winds blow, our home is where the waters flow. We'll show you what we've come to know on board while sailing wisdom.
So this stay here is pretty new. I just put it on a couple months back. It's still in its first phase of its life cycle, so it's creeping a bit. And I had it tight when we left Gibraltar, but it's a little slack, so we're gonna tighten it up again. So I don't use cotter pins. I use some seizing wire in the turnbuckles. That way nothing gets hooked on it, it doesn't stab anything. It works. It's very secure. So I just took them out, tightened it all up. Everything's good to go. Now we're gonna check it again in a while, see how it's looking. If it's creeped again, we'll tighten it again. So the first phase of Dyneema is where it creeps a lot, but with DM20, the a lot is very little. So it's been really nice. I like working with this material. Now once it reaches phase 2, it'll be like the rest of our synthetic rigging where it doesn't creep anymore. It's done. When it finally starts to die is when it reaches phase 3 and starts creeping again. So that's your warning that your Dyneema rigging is done, is it starts creeping a whole bunch all of a sudden. But the problem is using Dyneema as synthetic standing rigging is actually pretty new. So it's theoretical as to how long it'll last, but there's no boat that's actually made it to that date yet because it's all new. So we're currently at 5 years on it. So our goal is just to make it to 10 years. Every year past 10 is awesome. That's a bonus. But if we can make it to 10 years, then we know that this is as good as steel. And then every year after that just proves that it's better than steel.
Nap time.
All right, well, we are passing the last little tippy tip of Porto Santo. So after this, the next island is Madeira, which is still not visible, but it's kind of straight ahead-ish.
All right, we're going dead downwind, and the wind is moderate at best. So I decided that we should drop Monty, our mainsail, and just put up Stan, our staysail, and Josh, our jib, full jib. Because right now we have a reefed jib and we're just not getting enough go, and Monty was swinging back and forth, and it was just really loud and obnoxious. So let's see how we do with this new sail plan. Yeah, so it's not as great a sail as we would have liked. Josh is only filling some of the time. We're going dead downwind. So we're helping it out with a little bit of motor so that we can get there by daylight, because we don't want to be anchoring in strange waters in the nighttime. This is not a pleasant sail. I had my hopes up. But it's like a washing machine out here. It's just swell and waves coming from all directions. But the good news is we're almost there. We only have about an hour to go. 2 hours.
Yeah, so I don't get seasick, or I've never been seasick before, but I'm feeling a little queasy myself. It's that rolly out here. It's just not great. Yeah, the wind's light.
It's like all these clouds and everything, and then the forecast talking about gusts over 20 and all that stuff. None of that is, it's not happening. But it's still good that we left today because tomorrow there was forecasted to be 0 wind.
Yeah,
and the next day.
And the day after as well. The nice thing is our electric motor. So we don't need fuel. When we left Gibraltar, we motored quite a bit to get through the strait to like help get us out. And we burned down to about 29% charge. In like a week with the solar panel alone, we never had to turn on the generator. The batteries were full. So like when we pulled into the marina and dropped the anchor in Porto Santo, we were pretty good on charge. And then we sat there just basking in the sun, and we were totally full charge when we left there. And now we're just motoring with the sails to, you know, make it with daylight, keep the speed up. So we're just, you know, motoring just a scotch, and we're currently at 50%. And we're thinking, this is fine, because we're gonna get there, we're gonna anchor, we're gonna have sun, it's gonna charge up again. It's just, it's so nice. It's like just less affair of just, there's power, use it. And it's just like another tool that we use to make the boat go. And we don't have to be concerned about fuel or fuel quality or all these things, because it just comes from the sky.
So it's great cost-wise because we know we can run the motor and not have to worry about buying fuel at our next port. But it's also great because we've been sitting here with the motor on this whole time, and we could have easily just forgotten about it because it makes no noise, it's emitting no smell, it's just clean and enjoyable. We've been able to see land for a while now, so that's been our kind of hope that gets us through, and we're getting close. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited for Madeira. There is so much to do there. I've already mapped out a lot of our hikes and places to go, and I can't wait to take you guys along with us. It's gonna be beautiful. So this passage has actually been a really good way to test our new chain plates and our rig.
Yeah, it's been kind of a torture test because shock loads are the worst thing for your rig.
And our sails have just been going boom,
Oh.
boom. So we replaced our chain plates, as you know, and we didn't really talk about it or make that big of a deal about it for a couple of reasons. The old chain plates that were cracked, we were going to show you guys, but the guy actually threw them away. So
yeah, we gave them to him. We gave them to the guy at the mill to make copies of, and we figured, all right, he'll give back the new ones and the old ones. And when I went to pick them up, he was like, here's the chain plates, and he gave me the new ones and pitched the old ones. I was like, well, okay, thank you for the new ones. So in most boats, like the top of the mast is supported by one single stay. And if that stay goes, down goes the mast. But in our case, we have check stays, and then we're keel stepped as well. So like there's so many different things that are helping to hold the mast up that when we lost we lost our cap shroud and our aft lower.
And it's really bad to lose your cap shroud.
Yeah, the cap shroud's like the worst one to lose, because usually when people lose that one, the mast falls over.
But for us, and we said, we kind of emailed people, we lost our cap shroud, and they were like, oh my gosh!
Yeah, they like set up.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
You're
they're very
gonna die.
concerned.
Yeah.
But
The thing is, we've got so much rigging holding up our mast that if we do lose a shroud or a chain plate, it doesn't actually affect the mast that badly. Yes, we have to make sure we don't put as much load on that side,
Yeah.
but we ended up sailing on that tack
for
the whole
300
way.
plus miles.
Yeah, and it was totally fine.
The mast was being used on that side minus those two stays, and the mast wasn't coming down. So like the jury rig that I did was to help it. It wasn't like a do it or it'll crash down.
So in conclusion, the chain plates are fine. This has been a test and it is passed, and we'll obviously check them afterwards to make sure, but everything is fine.
Yeah.
And thank you all so much for your worries and your well wishes and
your
everything.
concern.
Yeah, it really was heartwarming to hear all of you concerned when we announced that our chain plates had broken on Instagram and Facebook. So again, I wish we could have shown you the breaks and everything, but
Yeah.
such is life.
At the moment, I was in a rush to get them to the machine shop because it's Portugal, so stuff takes a long time to come back.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, if you bring them to me today, I will work on them right now. I'm like, coming!
So we were coming into anchor and we looked at the other boat in the anchorage and it was rolling so much that we just decided to come into the marina. We had already contacted them anyway, just in case. And I think we're just gonna be much happier in here. But it is a very tight fit to get in. So Herbie's setting up our fenders now while I'm bringing us in.
With them, solitude calling.
We made it. We're here. We are docked. Everything is good. Everything is awesome. Everything is awesome.
This place is fancy. Hope we can afford it. Oh, check out the trimaran.
Find out. Good morning. We are here in our marina in Madeira and we're moving slips because we got here last night and just pulled in. Nobody was here. Now we can actually inquire as to where they want us. And we're moving. We got a car and we're going out into the world. We're going to be doing a short hike this morning and then we're going to head into Funchal to see what it's all about. It's mountainous and there are these little villages just like along mountain peaks, and the peaks and valleys are just endless. Oh my god, this is what it's all about. So before we go on our little hike, we're here at this trout farm. It's rainbow trout, and they were actually introduced to Europe in 1880, but Madeira in 1960. So ever since 1960, they've been farming trout, which adapted to the island quite well, actually. Rainbow trout actually originated in California.
Apparently the forests here, not surprisingly, are responsible for all life on this island. So there's so many trees that they collect mist that's flowing through the air and then make it liquid water for everyone to use on this island.
It's cool in here. There's a cloud. Madeira into Google, it mostly just shows you beaches. It doesn't show you these incredible viewpoints and mountainous landscapes that it's actually made out of. And honestly, beaches, I could take it or leave it. Most beaches just look like beaches. But when you look at this incredible, undulating, pointy landscape, it's something that I've never seen before. And that's what makes me so glad that we came to this island. Right now we are headed to Funchal, which is the main town on this island. It's almost a city. There's a lot to do in Funchal, so we're going to be coming back here a lot, but today we're just getting kind of an introduction of it. Blandy's Wine Lodge. So the biggest difference between Madeira wine and the wine in the rest of the world is that Madeira wine, kind of like port, is fermented very quickly and therefore is very sweet. So the fermentation process stops and then they add alcohol, very strong alcohol, later, which means that you've got super sweet, delicious wine. But the thing that makes it different from port is that they actually age this wine in wooden barrels in the heat, because they found that the heat makes a difference in the richness of the flavor. So our dear friend John Blandy here was actually British. He was born in the south of England, and he came to Madeira in the 1800s and established the Blandy Wine Company. And that's why the Blandy family is still here. The 7th generation is currently running this whole building, and they've stayed in the wine business all along.
Now, if you could just put, wait, let me make sure we're not gonna hit that one rock.
We're not, it's right there.
Okay. So, when you...
Oh, this is terrifying. Oh my God. We are on the trail of 25 waterfalls.
So, that cloud will change shape and move, and all, but it stays directly over the island.
Thanks for watching this episode of Sailing Wisdom. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next Rigging Doctor episode. And if you're interested in even more Rigging Doctor awesomeness, consider becoming a patron to see all of our extras. Can't wait to see you next time as you join us out here on the high seas.